Marisule have issues with some areas that are prone to flooding, similar to Corinth. A lot of the individuals are dissatisfied with the road networks. You hear a lot of stories of persons having to take out their shoes.
That would be in like the inroads.
The inroads.
I think like for me, I pass from, I just pass through Marisule.
And 90% of St. Lucia pass through Marisule. 99.9% they just pass through Marisule. And I think even parliamentary reps are guilty of doing that if they are honest with Marisule people. Which is one of the reasons I insisted that my office be in Marisule. Not only is it convenient for persons from all over Rosalie to get it right on the road, but for Granville, Corinth persons to also access it. But Marisule, the people keep telling you they feel like they are not even part of Rosalie. When they tell you they don't see any representative come and visit them and find out what the issues are, you hear that all the time. And these are the same places that tell you they don't have a community center, they don't have, it's funny when I hear they say they don't have a field, because people start calling the Corinth field, the Marisule field Corinth. I grew up knowing the field to be Marisule playing field. As a young person involved in sports.
Well, I guess since it's so close to the Corinth school, it's seen as the Corinth field.
Yeah.
So that's how I thought of it.
Yeah, growing up though, when I was standing up probably by my father's knees, that was my height, I know you were going on the Marisule field to watch football or cricket. Again, the culture in Marisule at that time was one, but it was a rich sports culture. The Marisule Football Club, a club known for having a couple of dangerous players, physical players I should say.
Okay.
But a very good football team. I remember Marisule and Massad, used to be the two teams to look out for when you have a Rosalie competition, and of course GIYO, another team, as a little boy you would hear about. As before you could have even kicked a ball, I just remember, having that love for sports from so early, that these were the teams that I heard about. And then later you would hear about Freedom Brothers, there was Marina Strikers before that, and then you hear about Freedom Brothers. Freedom Brothers eventually became Seaview, and of course Northern United was always the team to beat. But Marisule, again, some of the roads are good, like this one, but some of the roads are just not so good. And some of the people still speak about the level of security.
Right.
Some of the places still don't have enough lighting. So it's a recurring theme. So I would like to see a youth and agriculture program spread out through here as well. Kitchen gardens can be developed and that sort of thing. Marisule have another scope for farming, in the sense of poultry farming. We have some individuals, when you take this road and you go all the way up, they have the little goat farm, doing that stuff in Marisule. Of course, St. Lucia must be like, what?
Yeah.
Yes. In Marisule, they have individuals that do their own little farming on a different scale.
I think as far as Marisule goes, the inroads that I know would take me like to the beach. And that's about it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of potential in Marisule. Of course, I'm on a rocky road. What else? What's new? But in that area here, there's a lot of farming in that area there, and of course the animals and that sort of thing. So it's a community that I love. I must say.
And the farming is important because when you look at our food import bill and the amount which we as a country pay to bring in food, we really need to do things whereby, that's there.
Yeah, you're right next to the pastoral center on the other side.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
We need to do things whereby we can be self-sustained.
Yep, absolutely. And one of the things I said was, if we're going to invest and we're going to borrow so much money, one of the areas we could have looked at is manufacturing. And again, if you look at this area, this is an area which is right off the road, a couple of minutes off the road, that could have benefited from, at least one factory. Take a lot of the individuals that are on the blocks off the blocks, work in food processing, if we have fruits and that sort of thing, and juice and all them kind of things. We could have invested in something that is more tangible right now for individuals. Get them busy again, get them in work in the immediate future, so as to jumpstart the economy again.
Right.
Get people working until they can get into better jobs as we recover.
And it's a place that is close enough to the to the Rodney, to the Cass Streets,
exactly.
Which are the main places.
Yeah. So if you're talking about the transport costs of manufacturing and that sort of thing, this is an area that you get to really benefit from having low cost and that sort of thing. And I mean, it's right there. And I think the young people in that area, they've been craving for some economic activity. Yes, we have glass motors, we have some gas stations around, but we can really have some additional activities in this area. And Marisule is a place that I'm very passionate about. I think the attention they've been craving for a while, it should not continue to be seen as just a road. Yeah, a road people pass through and you want to drive, you want to drive, you want to drive. Let me just go into one more road in the Marisule area. This is East Winds Gap. East Winds. Of course, lots of residents in this community as well. Pastoral Center is there as well. Lots of vehicles parked on the side of the road. Relatively nice. We don't get a lot of complaints. I'm not saying that there aren't, but we don't get a lot of complaints in terms of lighting of this area.
Right.
We don't get a lot of complaints in terms of security. But unemployment is a huge issue again for persons in here, and they feel like a lot of effort is not being made to deal with that scourge.
Well, hopefully with the youth economy, a lot of these things, would turn around and persons would have not only opportunity, but also start to look at themselves differently.
Create their own opportunity.
Right.
Government will provide that soil, and look who this is. Government will create that fertile soil that is needed to ensure that people can, get so much more.
Yeah, but also in that, it's one thing when you feel hopeless. When you've been out there, you've been looking for a job, or you've been trying to create an opportunity for yourself, but the environment is not conducive to that, because you start to look at yourself sometimes as a failure. You start to look at yourself as less than.
Yeah.
But when you have that opportunity, when you have that environment to enable you to run, enable you to do something for yourself, it brings about some self-confidence. The way in which you see yourself, the way in which you see other persons around you changes in a more positive and wholesome way. So that's one of the things that I look forward to even the most about the youth economy, because you see some of these guys on the block and you can tell, and even some who you saw had so much potential and it has all fallen to the wayside. I can tell like they've lost hope. But with this, I feel it would be able to bring hope back to persons.
Absolutely.
So what were you taking me in there?
Earlier I said that closer to the road there is winds, people don't normally complain about breaking and injuries and that sort of thing. But this area here now, a lot of people have said to me that, of course, first of all, the roads, you see how bad it is, and there's some issues of theft, a lot of issues of theft. Even one police officer who lives in that, a well-known police officer lives in that area, and persons have even tried to break into his house. So it tells you that nobody is as safe as they might think. But again, we need to deal with the issue of unemployment for our young people. Yes, see what we can do about that. Be very serious about it. So, Marisule, you see a police officer, a police vehicle there? Can you imagine somebody trying to break into this house?
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I laugh, but this is serious. This is serious. Yeah, but it speaks to what's happening in the wider society. So, the youth economy, I think, is novel, and it is something that young people should really tap into. It's going to provide individuals with with the requisite training, the requisite financing as well, the marketing aspect of businesses, and you turning your talent and your skills into entrepreneurship and industry. I think this is something that we can look forward to.
And another thing about it is that I was speaking to someone and they told me that they was working with the party on the youth economy. And it was a young guy, and a lot of the time I feel like politicians, they would say, we're doing something for the youth, but there wouldn't be any young people involved, or they'll say, we're doing something for women, but they will not have any women involved.
Yeah.
I think it's great that the party has young people working on what the youth economy will be, because who better to know what they want from a youth economy than the young person?
Absolutely. We've seen somebody, we seem to be having a little bit of an issue there.
Hey,
how you doing, sir? Everything good?